Open up your eyes, take a look at me. Get the picture fixed in your memory. I'm driven by the rhythm like the beat of a heart. And I won't stop until I start to stand out.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to LorcanaCast, your Premiere Lorcana Podcast. This is part 2, where we dissect the massive announcement that came from IGN discussing GenCon, products, packs, all kinds of really cool stuff. So let's just jump right back in and see what we're talking about on this week's episode.
I think this discussion is going to lead into the question of the 200 card base set. What do we think about that?
I think that's massive.
And
I think it's a bit too big.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And 4 sets a year. What do we think about that?
Bad idea.
So let's go.
Really?
Wait, first of all, how's everybody feel about how's everybody feel about the size of the first set?
So size of the set. I love it.
200. So Chad,
it's 200
plus. 200 cards.
200 plus. 200 plus. Yeah, it's 200 plus.
It's a little big.
And you compare it to like Magic's first set ever. I think was 3 something.
Pokemon's first set was only 120 cards.
Yeah, to go off your point, Chris, a big starting set, there's pros and cons, but I think the biggest pro is it's not going to be a stale set. A lot of card games come out with a first set of like 120 cards, and within a week, everybody knows that this deck is the deck you play, and this other deck is the counter to that deck, and everything else is just not going to work.
Yeah.
Which is hyper boring, because then you have to wait 3 or 4 months to actually have
for set 2 to come out.
For set 2.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's where most card games die, is between set 1 and set 2, where it's like, oh, hey, I like playing the Aladdin Cruella deck. I'm going to keep playing this because it's, for example, this is the deck that just wins. And everybody else who goes, well, I don't like Cruella or Aladdin. That's not my color. Well, sucks to be you. Ha ha ha. And, that feels really bad, because I want to play Lorcana.
And then locals die, and then all that other stuff.
Yeah, locals die, people get upset, card values tank, game dies, which you don't want. So having a big set of 200 plus means, in theory, there should be a wide range of cards in the card pool, B, multiple decks that are playable, and C, enough cards to explore the set, where about the time people figure out what's good, what's bad, we should be close enough to the next set that it won't like completely dissolve the game to boardom.
Well, also, I think the next sets are going to be smaller, obviously. I think, well, I don't know, obviously.
Yes, they better be.
I want to be smaller. Also, Sugi, Chris, you guys remember from the desk, and you remember how the first set of desks came out, everyone's like, oh, this is amazing. And then the second set of desks came out and made that first set basically irrelevant.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen.
Power creep. It's called power creep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that.
No, it was worse than that.
It was
they made it
worse.
it was unplayable.
I mean, every game has some kind of power creep.
No,
it wasn't power creep. It was buy the set or die.
Yeah. So like, it was one of those things where like, I just want them to just, if their whole goal, like he mentioned, like hundreds of people playing the game, you know what I mean? I think then having the next couple sets be smaller to allow that legitimate, using the word power creep very gently, adding more, you know what I mean? It just, you got to make the first set relevant for the entire year. You can't just make it irrelevant with like a new set that just does dumb things.
I think the 200 card base set size is good for the parts you've already said, the diversity, right? 200 plus.
200 plus,
probably, again, I said like Magic's first set was like 300 something cards. Flesh and Blood was about 226. So that's a good size for a first set. My concern, again, if you guys have kind of touched on this already, is paired with the fact that there's 4 sets a year. That's a lot. If there's only 3 sets a year, that actually is not crazy.
I think Pokemon does 4 sets a year actually, or more.
So I mean, I guess that's a separate question. But
Pokemon has smaller sets, though.
I was just pointing in terms of like 200 cards is about average for a set size, but compared to like the number of sets per year, that could be a lot of cards. So and a lot of things to balance. But I am excited to see that it's not. I mean, I kind of was expecting like 150 cards. I was expecting something really small. Just because of the nature of the game and again, my first TCG. So it seems like a pretty standard amount of cards for a first set.
So to go off your initial point, Sugi, I actually agree with you, because like I just looked it up for comparison's sake. So Dragon Ball Super's first set was 114 cards, right? So to your point, it's a super tiny small set. That means there is like one, maybe if I'm stretching it, 2 decks at that point in time that were meta relevant, right? That's like you either played it or you lost, right? So go off your point. So I like as a competitive player, to your point, to have all these different options to keep me interested and invested until set 2 drops, and then set 3, and then set 4, and so on and so forth. In terms of the so I think I'm going to differ from everybody here. I'm used to having 4 sets, like 3 or 4 sets a year, because that's what Dragon Ball does. So I'm just kind of used to having 4 sets a year because we have, one every 3 months. So, I mean, what do you guys think about the 4 sets?
As long as they're smaller.
As long as they're smaller.
As long as they're like 200 cards. If I had to choose for your first set to be either 100 or 200 cards, I'm glad they only have 200. Like, that's great. I'd rather them go with more just because it's just good to have options. But going forward, the sets, I think they have to be smaller. One, so they don't pull their hair out with coming up with ideas.
And balancing.
Well, what about reprints? Format. I wouldn't hate reprints.
I would not want reprints. Not immediately.
Every card game has reprints, though, right?
Every card game has reprints, but I mean, like, I feel that if they do their first set and they just reprint their first set, then
not now. I'm just saying, like, maybe in 2024,
right? Yeah, like a year later.
Sure.
A year later, have like a reprint set.
Maybe two sets later, just so that card prices don't just like sticker shock.
Every card game has reprints. That's just the way it is to balance things out. Print more of the good cards, the base cards, the stamp, whatever they call it, evergreen cards, right? That's normal. But I guess to your point that you don't want the next set to be reprinted the first set, right? Yeah, we're talking about usually
he doesn't want Pokemon base set 2,
right? Usually these things go in cycles. So usually, like this first set is going to be part of a first year cycle, and usually when they get into a second cycle of 3 sets, and again, we don't know. It could be, are these full sets? Are they doing 2 full sets and 2 supplementary sets?
I'm sure they're going to be like legitimate sets. Like they'll be legitimate, like 100 plus.
Speculating, but I would guess that if they were going to be around that 200 card, 100 card, 150 cards, they are going to be a full release. Which some other card games are really just supplementary sets because they're doing it more frequently, right? So the question is, whether you do bigger sets less frequently or you do more sets or smaller sets more frequently. And it seems like they're going to go that second route where they do more sets but smaller, more releases but smaller, which I think changes the metas up a lot and keeps people engaged in the game, which is cool. But on the other hand, it could be if you're trying to get everything, which some people will. I'm not going to be one of those people, but some people try to collect everything. So it's a lot of money.
A lot of collectors.
Yeah, I hope that they steal from older Magic the Gathering sets where you have a big base set and then a couple subsequent supporting sets with smaller cards.
That's what I would
say. So all along the same kind of style.
Yeah, so they used to call it a block. So they'd have
the blocks.
The block system where the first set that came out was like a
block.
Yeah, so it was like the core set where it's like out of the Ravnica block you have set 1, 2, 3.
That.
The first set had the most cards. That was the cornerstone of the set.
Yep.
And then set 2 had additional cards to support set 1.
Yep.
And then set 3 had all the fun cards to kind of wrap it up. It was kind of the most interesting and unique set.
Magic block,
and then once you had the entire block, you had the cornerstone, the fundamental stuff. The second set was the expansion to the fundamentals. Third set was the exploratory, neat, cool stuff. And then you would sit on that block for generally a year and a half before 2 years before it cycled out. Which I'm sure that Lorcana is going to have a cycle system. They have to.
Yeah, the block system is also nice too because it includes, usually there's mechanics included in that block, right? And like Siggy's saying, like this, so the first set introduces a new mechanic, and then the second set may, add just more of that same mechanics, maybe one more thing kind of building off of that. And the third set, the third of the block usually like will put the mechanic somewhere you don't expect it, or like change the mechanic in a weird way. So like it's kind of cool that you can like you can look at a set like Ice Age and know that had Winterlands, right? Like years later, that was a mechanic they had in that set that the cards built off of those snowlands, that's what they're called. So that like that thing, and then you also have story implications, right? And I'm not sure that's going to be an interesting part of this game too, because it does seem like they're going to have an ongoing story with us as Luminaires and what that means and what's happening with the world. So if you do a block system, you could actually keep that story contained to certain blocks and time, and then have events happen and move it to another set, right?
So another interesting thought is if this set comes out in August-ish, I think we're going to call the official release September when the big box stores have it, so everybody has it.
Sure.
So think about the next set coming out September, so October, November, December, 3 months later.
December, January probably, right?
No, I think it's a December release.
I think it'd be December for Christmas.
For Christmas.
Get that Christmas money.
But think about this.
Black Friday release.
PAX Unplugged is in December. So we could see an inaugural tournament at PAX U.
Wait, isn't PAX a video gaming thing?
So PAX Unplugged is a board game exclusive. It's a board game card game convention. It's like 99% board. No, it came out during Destiny. So the first year was 2017, I think. So it's technically it's new-ish compared to GenCon and Comic-Con and all those other things. But PAX U is exclusively focused on board games and card games, and it's in Philadelphia. And they do run major tournaments for like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. That's actually where one of the nationals for Destiny was. So also the Twitter page for Disney Lorcana follows PAX Unplugged, which look
at you sleuthing.
This is all speculation. This is pure speculation. But when they made the announcement of August, September, and you do the math, I was like, oh, that would give us enough time to either have an actual inaugural tournament with set 1, or it could be a set 2 release and you could buy product there and you'd actually have a tournament where it's like you play with your set 1, you buy a couple boosters of set 2, whatever. So like I wouldn't be surprised, like everyone who's listening, like you save up some of your PTO. It would not surprise me if something tournament wise happens at PAX Unplugged in December.
That's in the West Coast for people that may not know, right?
Philadelphia.
Oh,
East
it's
Coast.
in Philly?
Yeah, it's in Philly.
Never mind, chat. I apologize.
No. We're going to eat some Philly cheesesteaks like crazy if it happens because I love Philadelphia food.
Sir.
And then
again, pure speculation. I'm just saying if they're doing 4 sets a year, it makes sense for them to have, like, they will have a Christmas holiday release. They have to. But I wouldn't be surprised if they said, because they're trying to, boost the Lorcana circuit and get people hyped. So they say, hey, we're at GenCon. Maybe they're at PAX U. We'll see.
And this, again, is like, I mean, you're putting that a lens of, like, this is going to be a fairly competitive game in your mind. We don't know yet, though, right? I mean, to have a tournament at PAX U, and I guess you could say you could have a casual, fun tournament at a big thing. But usually, if you're going to go to a convention, it's going to be for a premier event, right?
So even if you pare it down and you don't make it a tournament, I could absolutely see it as a place to run demos.
For sure.
Just like GenCon, a place where they're going to have promotional items so people will come. And I could absolutely see it as a place where they would have Wave 2, Set 2, previews, pre-release, whatever. So if you go to PAX U, you're rewarded. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. It just makes sense because right now the current circuit for conventions is GenCon, and that's not good enough for the game. They have to hit something else or multiple things.
And just taking Ryan's words again about this, knowing that stores are where the community is built, right? Again, having, and this will be my biggest thing after seeing the good news that the releases to LGS's first, is having everything competition wise start at the store level, right? Having store champion, having a store weekly events, going to a store championship, going into a regional, going into something bigger. If they're going to go down that route, I'm still, I don't want this to be a main competitive game for me. But if it is going to be a main competitive game for some people, and maybe something that you could travel with your kid to go do stuff, I think it needs to start at the store level, and then something like PAX or something like GenCon, those are additional tournaments, in my opinion. Or maybe where you have regional, or maybe where you have nationals, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Again, like I'm really speculating purely based off of the timing.
Sure.
The timing is really hot for a November, December Set 2 release. And since there's a major tabletop convention right at that intersection, it would logically make sense for there to be something. Whether there is or isn't, I don't know. I don't know what the bandwidth for Ravensburger is to send people to events or their budget or anything like that. But speculation wise, it makes sense because Board Game Geek Con is the week before Thanksgiving, which is not traditionally known for trading card games. So I don't think it's going to be there. At that point, Origins will be over. Gen Con will be over. Some people are speculating that they might go to Comic Con. I don't think they will. And then the more we talk about it and the more I see the way they're pacing out their marketing, I also don't think they're going to be at that D23 in Orlando in December either. So the next most logical and possible convention would be PAX U in Philly. So that's my sleuthing guesstimation based off the limited information we've got. If they were to go to another convention, because they've got to build up hype. They've got to they can't let the train go. Lorcana release. Okay, we're hands off. We're not going to do anything anymore. Like, you're on your own, people. Like, they've got to go do marketing. They've got to go to cons. They've got to show their face. They've got to have promos so that people are incentivized to participate. Otherwise, it's like, why not play Magic over this or something else?
Before we go on to like some of them talk about specific cards, if we're going to do that, I do want to bring up one more point about the set itself and the release. The fact that it's going to mass retail, right? and then some of you guys that play DBZ and some of the other guys that hit mass retail, because a lot of my games don't hit mass. Fab doesn't hit mass retail. What do we think about the first set? Do we think that means there's going to be a lot of the set printed? I mean,
yes,
yes,
right?
yes.
It has to be
yeah.
for mass retail release.
Is there any way that they print to demand?
They can't logistically, from a logistic standpoint.
I don't think they'll be printed enough to the demand
to
that the team would take. I don't think so.
They could pull a Bandai. I really hope they don't. But what Bandai likes to do is they print a fixed amount. It will sell out, and then they do a second wave.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, One Piece came out. It's sold out everywhere across the board at the distributor level. You cannot buy it anywhere. Set 2 comes out next month, and then there's a reprint of Set 1 in May, which sucks. But they prefer printing enough versus overprinting, and then having that product just sit in warehouses doing nothing. Lorcana, I don't think will have that problem because One Piece compared to Disney, I don't think is even comparable. If I walk up to someone and be like, do you know who Monkey D. Luffy is? Is it an animal? Okay, I'm going to slap you. Or if I go, hey, do you know who Mickey Mouse is?
Family show.
Like, oh, yeah. Okay, I don't know. I can't say anything.
You can.
So I'm trapped. You got me. Congratulations, Chris. I'm out. I fold. Or if I walk up to someone and say, hey, do you know who Mickey Mouse is? 99% of people, they know who Mickey Mouse is. So I don't think that's the problem. I'm just saying, like,
know Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah. So Bandai is just an example we can look at of a company that knowingly, quote unquote, short prints in order to save on cost. Ravensburger seems to be doing the smart thing. I do think they're taking a gamble and just kind of guesstimating what number of things they need to print. I believe they're going to print just above what they need. However, we also don't know what legendary status looks like. We don't know what the secondary market looks like. If legendary cards are like God tier, S tier, oh my gosh, I have to have these for my deck, then this stuff is going to sell out like hotcakes and they're going to have underprinted. If they have legendary tiers, kind of like what Skeff is talking about, and it's an alternate art version of a card that already exists in a lower rarity, then this will probably sell perfectly fine. There'll be more than enough product for anyone who wants it, minus the first week. I'm pretty sure the first week everyone's going to sell out like, just immediately. Yep. And then probably 2 to 4 months later, or 2 to 4 weeks later, there will be a second wave, and at that point, it'll be.
And listeners, I want you to be prepared. What's going to happen is, I mean, even the people, the first sellout of this game, like many games, it's going to feel, people are going to be wanting to not be able to find it, right? And it's going to feel really tight because a lot of those first packs that are selling, people aren't going to open. Because collectors are going to buy the first set of this game to hold it. People like us on this podcast are going to open up plenty. But even me, I'm going to that first one, I'm going to try to get a case and sit on it, right? Because that's, especially the first of a game, that's the premium base level of any sealed product for the future of collecting. So that's going to be, I would venture, this is totally unsupported at all, but, I would venture to say that maybe half of the total products isn't going to be open, something of that nature. Just because,
I don't know about that. I think more people are going to open than not.
Graded. Like first, like I want to get a lot of stuff graded. I want to get a lot of stuff graded. The first cards graded, put away. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm going to do.
But
I'm going to keep some
sealed. There'd be a considerable amount of product that would not be open. Can we agree to that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 20%. But to your point, and for anyone who's listening, start saving money right now. Like put money away in your savings account or whatever it is, because when those boxes, when those pre-orders go up,
buy,
get in on it, or you're Well, so here's what's going to happen. You either get in on it on pre-order, or you're going to have to wait 1 to 2 months. And unfortunately, a lot of people, there's life and kids and work and just stuff, and that's fine. And they miss the pre-order date for whatever reason, and then they're just SOL for like 2 months, and then they just get really frustrated because everyone has the cards,
right?
They don't, and people are opening packs and they're not, and the prices are going to be the highest possible. Like, unless you're going to a major tournament that has a lot of money on the line, I would highly recommend staying away from singles because they're going to be extremely overpriced, because when the first set comes out, it'll sell out. Everyone's going to try and crack up. Like, we're going to go to GenCon. I know for a fact people are going to buy those starter decks and try and flip them online for like $100. And there will be people who are going to buy them. And there's going to be a lot of people going, well, I wasn't at GenCon and I don't have to wait, 3 weeks for the starter deck.
It's fine. It's fine. Just wait.
Yeah, don't pay the GenCon tax, please. It's just it's absurd because people are going to try and open a booster pack and be like, oh, I found this Mickey, $500,000. Just wait until you can crack your own booster packs. Unless you have exposable income or you just really want that card like right now.
Yeah.
Just wait. Just wait 2 weeks.
And also pre-order it. Like again, they're giving local
LGS,
and that's going to be when you pre-order LGS. I've heard horror stories, but I've always had great experiences. I've never had any bad experiences with pre-ordering from local game stores. I always get what I pre-order unless they get allocated without knowing. Unless last minute they don't get what they thought they were getting.
Right? There will be allocated.
But like you generally, that's to be safe. If you pre-order online from a random, one of these mass game stores,
good luck.
They don't have any connection with you. They'll just cancel your order, right? When they find out that the secondary market's going way up, when they find out that like these boxes are selling for way more than they sold it to you. So again, your best bet is going to be get a connection with your local game store, get a pre-order in as soon as you can. Find stores that will sell it to you, actually take your money up ahead of time, so you have that, so you already paid for it. That's my suggestion.
So another thing for listeners to be aware of, and you guys, everyone here on the team knows this 100% will happen. Be on the lookout at mass retailers early. Target and Walmart, we've said this before, they do not care about street dates. They will break it.
They don't care about street dates.
Be on the lookout for Lorcana early. I guarantee you, I said earlier in the show, I am a reseller on TCG Player. I will touch on that in a minute. I found One Piece starters before they were supposed to be out on the shelf. And I straight up asked the person that put them out. I was like, that these aren't supposed to be out yet, right? They said, I know. I was told to put them out. I said, okay, I will buy them all. Thank you very much.
I'm just following orders.
I'm just following orders.
Yes, working retail. Leave me alone, sir.
Yes, good soldiers follow orders, right?
Go away.
And sometimes people, that situation, what their intent was. Sometimes they don't know.
Exactly.
Sometimes they just get in, they put stuff out, they don't realize there's a certain date. And also many times at these stores, sometimes they'll put a limit on it, but sometimes they don't put a limit on it, right?
I can guarantee you, in my experience, they do not. They do not. I've bought stuff out before. Exactly. They only care about getting it off the shelf, right?
Yeah.
So let me just touch on TCG Player, because Chris, to your point, there are sketchy resellers on TCG Player. Be careful ordering product, because there are people who will cancel your order once they see that the price is going up and then be like, too bad, so sad.
Yeah, so no backlash, there's no repercussions, no consequences.
Exactly. Yep. TCG Player is the Wild Wild West.
Straight savage.
Be very careful on TCG Player. I am not that kind of reseller, but there are resellers out there. So I'm just trying to protect the listeners.
Do we think that the release at the mass retail is going to be the same product that the LGSs get?
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
The same gift set, the same. You don't think
the booster box?
You don't think mass retailers will sell booster boxes?
No. They're gonna have the blister packs.
But what if you say I just want to buy this whole display? I mean, they'll
sure. But then it'll be $6 per pack.
4 items. Yeah, it'll just be up to each individual retail store.
So we actually talked about this in a previous episode. Well, the other thing is, if you buy a booster box, there's guaranteed pull rates. Where, for example, if you buy a booster box, you're guaranteed.
No game company ever says it's guaranteed pull rates.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
What? Magic says it's guaranteed pull rates?
Yes.
Pokemon, there isn't guaranteed, but there's a like if you open enough,
Yu-Gi-Oh does too.
There's a certain amount you pull.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh guarantees at least one secret rare, at least 2 ulti. Yeah, Magic is like you're guaranteed 3 to 5 mythics, and then the rest is just
Fab.
rares.
Fab doesn't. They say that this is likely. You'll get, 8 Majestics or whatever.
Yes, that's why I don't play Fab. You don't get
it. Bandai does the exact same thing.
They guarantee
you're guaranteed.
No. They're likely. Bandai does what Chris is saying. They are very sketchy about. We don't guarantee. We don't guarantee, but you might get this.
I don't think that's sketchy. I think that's. I like it personally because you'll have some boxes that are wording or whatever, really good boxes, where they'll have more legendaries than you would have been guaranteed otherwise, right? So it gives that random factor to it. I think, and at least my understanding of it was that really when these companies that Carta Monday or the place that prints them, the company tells them how you want it to be randomized, right? And to really truly randomize something, you can't have guarantees. To say you have to have like certain percentages of Majestics to Fables to Rares in each pack, right? So that's why they say that it's likely you'll get this from out of a whole case, but we can't say that this is exactly what you're going to get.
If I pull $144 garbage, I'm finna be mad. So there better be something like you get one legendary or two legendary per box of something.
I'll be okay if they didn't say that.
I would be very mad if they didn't, because that's just a cash grab. Then they're just like, then there's no guarantees of anything.
You're opening up a box, a pack of random cards that could have a certain rarity. And just, and I'm okay. Like it's not, is it gambling? I don't know. It's what it is. You're getting random product, and some people are going to get, win that bet and get better pools, and some people aren't. So I don't know. That's how I look at Fab. I don't, I buy a set amount. I buy what my budget allows me to buy. And sometimes it comes out that I get really good cards, and sometimes I get average cards. And most times I get average cards. Sometimes I get really good cards, and every now and then I'll get a box that doesn't have anything great in it. Right. That's just the game you play. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's the risk you take, regardless of whatever.
So that's what you have to look for, is if they guarantee the pools or if they don't.
That's true. But there's no reason why Target's not going to stop you from just pointing everything off the wall. They want the money.
Well, they want to move product, right?
Yeah.
We do expect.
So
if you're listening to be limited
right
though.
now.
We do expect GenCon to be limit per person. We're not sure there. We don't know a lot of things. We don't know if they have all the product.
Probably going to be 12 packs per day,
or a gift set or something like that.
Because I was thinking it was going to be like one of each item, like excluding like packs. You could buy like a box, like one box, one of each starter, a play mat, all that other stuff. Yeah,
it costs a lot of money.
No, it's probably going to be like you can have one of each starter, 12 packs, and then if the gift set is there, maybe one gift set. But I don't think they're going to have the fat pack.
I'd be really surprised if they had all the products there.
They might have the play mats.
I was thinking everything was going to be at GenCon to get that money. So
yeah, but it's so expensive. It's so expensive to get things to GenCon, and
they want to sell out of everything. Yeah. They want everything to be gone by GenCon. They want whatever product they have at GenCon, they want it to be gone.
Yeah, you don't
have any left.
It will be gone.
No, it
will be gone.
But the problem is you're going to have people like us who are going to show up and be like, hey, I'm dropping $3,000. Let me have everything.
Well, but they won't let us do
I
that.
think it'll. Yeah. I hope if I can buy a booster box, like if you can get a booster box and when you get in line, I'll be very happy. Like that'll be awesome.
I brought this up offline. I believe that GenCon, they still have not released all 200 cards a set when GenCon hits.
You'll know everything. You'll know everything by GenCon.
I'm disagreeing there. I don't think we'll know everything.
Booster pack.
And I don't think that they want. I still don't think that they're going to want everything to be spoiled after GenCon. So I'm taking a hard line. I might be the only one here. I think that at GenCon you could get preset items. I think we're going to be able to get starters, and maybe. I don't know that you'll be able to get booster packs. I know that maybe that's disappointing you guys, but I think that they will want to. They'll make a ton of money if they bring. Imagine if they brought a crate or a truck full of starters, and they're going to sell no matter what. They're going to sell all these starters and they control within them. Or I guess each starter has a booster pack though. I was
going to say counterpoint. Right. There's a booster pack each starter. So there's no way for them to control that.
My whole argument.
but they can minimize. Well, but here's the thing. Actually, that's not a bad argument. So here's what I could see. We've gone super heavy on the tournament side where it's like they're going to have everything. Right. We can play and do all this stuff. The other side of that coin that Chris might be on something, and I hate to agree with it.
I know. It's hard. I make it hard.
No. It's not actually you making it hard. But like when we were talking about the logistics of having official tournament support with staff members and people. That's a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And Ravensburger, again, we have to remember Ravensburger is a puzzle company that happens to sell board games and this.
Getting this for the first time.
If they had to, I'm thinking of this from a business perspective and a marketing perspective. If I had 10 people and I could only do one thing with them, and it was, hey, you can send them over to run a tournament, or you can run 10 demo games every 10 minutes. I'm going to put them on the demo
They're going
games.
to demo so they can buy things.
If we're following that logic, and Chris is probably closer to the truth, then what they're probably going to have is a massive booth to run demos nonstop. And then, win or lose, you probably get a GenCon promo. And then you can buy a starter deck.
Yep.
And that's it. Because the booster packs probably more likely won't have been finalized in production and are on the way to FLGS stores. So if they're going the hyper casual, hey, come play Lorcana. Hey, come learn Lorcana. Hey, let's go ahead and try it out. And we're not going to do anything, tournament heavy. Then they don't need booster packs. And they don't need the fat pack.
Right.
They just need the starter deck and the gift set, because that's more than enough to get you and your buddy started playing some Lorcana. Once you're done playing the demo, oh my gosh, that was super cool, I loved it. Hey, would you like to buy a starter deck? Yeah. And you guys want to split a gift set? Yeah. Okay, cool. You can have one of each. Oh, okay, cool, yay. And then they move you along, because having a box of starter sets is a lot easier to move than trying to mine it, like min-max. Okay, everyone only gets 5 booster packs per day, per hour, per what, it's just, hey, you can buy a starter deck, and you can. We have them
all in bags. You probably go to buy the full amount. You can buy. Here you go, grab a bag, go.
I think that'll just be too much work selling packs that way. I think it'll be either no packs or a booster box. Like I think taking time to individually wrap
no packs. I don't think.
They're not selling single packs. I mean, if this was again, it's a little hard because FFG had an established presence at GenCon. They went there every year and they released their new stuff there. But if this was, we compare it to Star Wars. I'm getting confused with Fab Destiny, not Dynasty. If we compare it to Star Wars Destiny,
they never sold.
They didn't. When they released it, we knew it was coming out. We knew it was going to be. They sold the starter decks. I don't think they even started. I think they just had demos the first time, and you play a demo, you got the card, you got the promo card. I don't know that you even could buy the demo, the starter packs at GenCon.
No,
but again, it's a little different because they already had established presence there. They already had tournaments there. They already had staff there, so they were able to just demo it all day long, and people just kept demoing. I remember we just read the demo. We kept read the demo back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that the article says they will have product is where I think that for sure you're gonna have starters. I'm just not convinced you're gonna have more of that. So that's where I'm at.
Well, so here's the really, really good news about that. A lot of people on Facebook and Twitter have been speculating, is it worth going to GenCon? And, they're like, well, it's going to be really nice to see people and see my friends. But the fact that we have a guarantee that there is a limited supply of product of some sort
is huge.
Means there's something.
Exactly.
With all of the other games we've talked about, it's just been maybe kind of sort of half the time you showed up and it was there and you're like, oh my God. Like I remember when X-Wing first came out, they didn't announce anything. It was just like X-Wing is going to be here. And they did the demos. And then the next day they're like, oh, by the way, we're selling it. And everyone's like, what? And so there was this huge rush on FFG to go buy it because nobody knew. And a lot of people who were at home were like, well, if I'd have known, I would have gone. Darn it.
So at least they're telling us.
So the good news is they're telling us there's something. At least there's something. And I mean, like, let's be honest. If it's a booster pack, that's fine. Because if you're a flipper, you can flip it for money. If it's a starter deck, you can play it. And if it's anything else, it's still playable. Like if they say, hey, you can only have a gift set, that's still booster packs. That's something you can monetize. If they say, hey, it's a fat pack, they're still, of all the things they have here,
I think
the worst thing they could do is be like, well, we have play mats and cards. And like, what? No.
I think we all agree that we all think there'll be starters there, right? Nobody here.
Yeah. No argument. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with you on the starters.
There will be a limited supply of starters, I will say.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean? That's something you guys should know. I don't know if listeners haven't been at Gen Con. This is going to be intense. I mean, like we're talking about, like if you really want, it doesn't sound great to think about this, 8 months from now, but if you really want to get any of this product, there's gonna be lines forming at when the Indianapolis Convention Center opens doors at 5 a.m. or whatever, and then usually the first doors to the vendor hall will be like 10 a.m. 9
it's
a.m.
10
a.m. Right?
It's 10.
So I remember one year, for some product I wanted, I got there at 5 a.m. and I hung out and played board games, played my Switch.
You guys like Twilight Imperium, right?
Yeah. And then
we ain't got all day for that one.
You get there, you stand in line. That's part of this deal. That's part of the experience, right?
I'll tell you what. I just got my new Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG from Magpie the other day. We could play that.
We can make your character get through the first campaign, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're waiting 5 hours, also that system runs on D6s. I know this is a total tangent, but yeah, you just need a D6 and that's it. So it's pretty easy.
That sounds great.
So
that'd be fun.
Going off Gen Con, right? We keep focusing on the logistical aspect of it. What if the rules come out, they open up a judge program, and then you can volunteer yourself as a judge to help with the logistical issue, and you just do what Bandai does and gives you like product.
Why would I need anything? I would judge. I would volunteer. I mean, that's
I would volunteer to judge in a heartbeat.
But so then that way you're getting around some of the logistical issues while running demos and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
volunteer.
I don't think they would.
I don't think they do it.
Yeah, realistically, that you can't. Right.
Run trustfully. Yeah, that just seems. Next year, that's a next year thing.
Even if I can prove that I've done this judge for plenty of games, I'm reliable. They don't know me, and they just think that me be a Gen Con. Oh, go over here. We'll give you all this product. Run this. Don't run away with our product.
Chris, right? Everyone knows you. You're such a nice guy.
So I'm just saying, I think that's really nice to think about. But yeah, it's just. I think the best we could hope for. Again, I said that earlier. That for a tournament, there is just a starter set tournament, which I think that'd be great personally.
I think there'll be one tournament. I think there'll be one tournament, and it'll just be fascinating to see what they release and how much is available. But it's just going to be coming down to how many people are working for the team that'll run. Because they're going to need people to run the booth. Line's going to be bad. Are there also here's the thing no one will talk about, where it's like for the beginning in the morning. Are you going to just wait in line, or are they going to hand out time tickets to come back later throughout the day?
This is another logistic part of that about the tournament is like, if they do a starter set tournament, or even if they do anything, so here's the deal. This is another way to support my position that starter set. So to do an event at Gen Con, you have to ticket the event. It's not like they're random. They're going to have to go through Gen Con, get a space, get a time, get whatever. And so you would have to sign up for that ahead of time. So if this is a brand new release of a game. So what FFG has done in the past is you sign up for the release event. Will there be a release event? You get your starter set there. You play your starter set there. That's because they have to set aside that amount for the people, the tickets they've sold.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, the other way to do it was, open play, or here's my tournament. Hopefully you get a pack. Hopefully you get there early enough to get a pack and get here by 3:00 to play the tournament. Which doesn't work out, right? Because you might not be able to get the pack. So really the only they have to, if they were going to run anything, they're going to have to associate whatever product you need to run that tournament with the tournament themselves. Does that make sense? That makes sense. You have to make sure you're getting it,
which means they'll have less product to sell to the general public.
Well, correct. Yeah, that's just a reality. If they do it, if they do it and they don't give you product for it, that's gonna be bad, right?
Right.
So yes, they have to. Which FFG has done in the past, so they discounted. So yes, they have to tie those things together for that to work, which is again another step.
All I'm saying is once we get our hands on this stuff, we got to do a multiplayer 4-player game.
Even if we'll make our own rules up.
No, there's multiplayer rules. It's already been built into. Yeah, it's the way that Robinhood's been built.
Oh,
yeah, because
it's target
wording, his wording on the card.
Yeah,
the titling.
Well, I mean, you could
templating.
I mean, FFG Fab has cards like that for a PVE mode that hasn't come out for 2 years, so it might not be available day one.
Ew,
you know what I'm saying?
Gross.
Yeah, that's possible. But he specifically says if another opponent has more cards than you get to draw. So.
It does seem likely to me that this will be they will have a multiplayer format day one.
I feel a two-headed giant, something like that. But
something like that, yeah.
I am in the firm belief that we will know what every card is in the set and how the game works before Gen Con.
Agreed. Yeah,
I agree.
I'm in the firm belief in order for them to build the hype before the show, someone, maybe us, I don't know, they're gonna reach out to somebody like, hey, we're gonna do a gameplay video on how the game plays, and eventually before the show starts, there'll be a whole a couple weeks where you'll see every single card in the set. I'm 100% positive that
they have to leave at least a few cards that aren't revealed.
No, they're gonna show everything. We're gonna know every single thing that's gonna be in the set before it comes out, in order to build the hype of okay, I can't.
Exactly.
I don't think that. I think if you could release 80% of a set, again, I'll stand on my hill and die alone. I think if you
that's okay, Chris.
Release 80% of a set, and I agree with you that the rules will be out there, right? We'll know the rules. We'll see a gameplay video, but maybe we won't know one of the legendary cards. Maybe we won't know, one of the characters, because again, you want that excitement of somebody opening that, oh my God, they didn't tell us about this, right? That's it's really important during established games, more so, I guess, than a first release. So I can see it go either way, honestly, for the first release of a game. But especially, you guys know when you're playing when you're new set, so Fab just announced the next set name, right? And now we're getting little spoilers. But it's actually having something to go with the LGS that day and open up packs and find brand new the excitement of that is unparalleled. You right? Like, if you guys agree, or is that just me?
That's just you, Chris.
Okay. I love the excitement of seeing a brand new card that I didn't know that I haven't dissected and I know everything about and I know how it's going to fit in my deck.
I'm very analytical. I want to know everything. I want to take a bite, the biggest bite I can. Like I want to know all the data. Feed me all the data. I want to know everything.
So it's really tricky because I'm going to play the Chris middleman card here because Wombo combo.
It's official. The Chris middleman card.
Yeah. I'm going to place my booster pack on the table here.
Today I've been on the down hill though. Today I've been by myself. But go ahead.
No. Well, so this is tricky. So from a marketing perspective, they need to show off the cards to get people hyped. However, from a anticipation and an expectation standpoint, I could see them slowly revealing some of the cards, and then after we crack GenCon, then they reveal the rest of them because there's gonna be so many people with so many packs that all the cards are gonna figure themselves out.
Get them revealed,
yeah. So instead of having people reveal it with their crappy older cell phone pictures on Twitter, they'll just post here's the rest of the cards, so on and so forth. So I mean, like it could go either way based on the current society and the way people want everything now. I think more than likely they'll probably reveal everything. However, they've been so nebulous and so like standoffish with so many things. I could also see Chris's point where they'll show us like one card a week, and that's not enough cards to get us to Gen Con for the entire set. So I mean, like, it might be, who knows? It might be a little bit of A, a little bit of B, but
one of the best card game experiences I've had in the last 5 years is being in Las Vegas for the premiere of a Fab set, and like they did not tell us what the Fable was going to be, and being in a room with 900 people that are just opening up. Like it was a sealed event, so you just got boosted. There's 900 people that got 6 packs, right? And we were opening up our packs at the same time, and hearing someone shout that they got the Fable, and then everybody running over there trying to see what the Fable did because we didn't know. It was like one of the best experiences I've ever had.
Yeah. From an experience perspective, I agree. That would be like the coolest thing to show up. Like, don't get me wrong.
Or be that person that gets it, right? Be that person that pulled it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I actually had that happen with what game was that? Shoot, Keyforge. Mm-hmm. They had not revealed some of the alternate shifted cards, so they basically had cards that they had shifted from a set into the new set. So nobody knew what it was. People were cracking them and opening, and I found the last one from that set and posted it online. It was super cool because people were like, "Oh my gosh, here it is!" It was really cool. It was actually kind of powerful, and the entire community was super excited because there were 8, and I was one of the 8. And like it doesn't really matter. There wasn't like any credence. I wasn't special. There wasn't like money involved. But it was cool to crack that open and go, right. "Oh my gosh, I found the card. I found the last card. Like nobody knows what this does." And then I'm reading it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's really cool!" And like sharing it with the community. So yeah, from an experience perspective, I think that'd be super fun. However, a lot of people are very much microwavy and they want it now. They want to know everything before it happens. They want to have all the access to all the data. And from a deck building perspective, that does help a lot because going into a convention, not knowing everything can be annoying because you don't know if you actually know everything based off of the limited information the 4 of us would have cracking packs and then the people around us. So I mean, like pros and cons. There's a lot of pros. There's a lot of cons. I think they'll probably reveal everything, but we'll see. So
let me ask you guys this. I think it's been a slow drip and all this maybe and kind of stalling because they were waiting for this IGN article to drop. So my train of thought is because they said, yes, we'll be at Gen Con, the IGN, article dropped, like Lorcana blowing up online. So I think now they're going to like take the brakes off and like let us start moving down the track at a little bit of a faster rate. Like, what do you guys think?
On board for that.
Because I've been talking for 3 months about gameplay trailer. So like, I think that's next with like the rule set, and then we'll start getting like 4 or 5 cards a day like revealed to get through our 200 plus up to Gen Con. Maybe 3 to 4. I don't think they're gonna do 3 to 4 a day. I think it's gonna be like one a week, maybe one every other day.
I would say an update a week. Society are so get this now, right now, and I think that like that is so. I mean, if you put it in perspective, we're 8 months away. So I mean, like the thought that like I get what you're saying, Jason. I really do, and I understand people's frustration. They want to know more. They want to now. I hope that. And I don't think it's realistic to think that we're going to get anything more than 1 card a week after that. And I think we'll get a gameplay trailer closer to June or July, right before.
You think it's that late? Because I'm
Yes,
thinking
I agree with Chris.
oh,
that's in the spring.
okay.
They're gonna
okay.
milk
So
it.
so now I'm the one dying on this hill. I think we're
right.
getting it in like March.
No.
March
March
too early, man.
There's nothing exciting too. March is boring too. Like nothing good happens. In March.
You want to have a strong line of releases going into the event. And we're just so far away. And if you do it in March, people are going to forget about it and be like, oh, this, you know what I'm saying? So I know like we're early adopters. Many people are still just seeing that article for the first time. They're still building up strength. And it's just they're not doing anything wrong. I don't think I disagree a little bit with what Sue was saying earlier. I'm fine with the release of information they've had. There's a finite amount of information. There's so many things they could do. This was a big dump of information at one time. There's a huge amount of information at one time, and there's only so much information they have. Right?
We didn't even talk about the trackers either. We never even covered the trackers.
Yeah, what they're going to do and what. And so like once the rules are released, the main thing we get are obviously individual cards, which we know there'll probably be another 200 cards that could be released, and the rules of the game. Those are the main thing, and then distribution of rarities.
And I think the gameplay video, like Chris said, I think the gameplay video will be maybe a month.
That'd be a huge amount of information that's released at that time. So
here's the other reason I don't think they're going to reveal the rules super early.
Yeah,
it could turn people off really quickly. Like we don't know what the rules are,
and they're probably still figuring it out.
Not that they're hiding anything. I mean, if people don't want the rules, people don't want the rules. They're not going to buy the game, right?
Right. Yeah.
But again, like if the earlier they release the rules, the more time people have to be like, oh, this game's gonna be trash. It's just for kids. Oh, this game's just for competitive people, right?
Right. Yeah. Fine. I
I'm not going to jump down on you.
No. I get it. I mean, that's why we're having this conversation, right? Is to have discourse. So since we're talking about it, to get back to the products, something we were talking about like off recording is what do we think these game tokens are for? Because in the gift set you get 34 of them, you get 15 from the trove, you get 11 in your starter deck. So like what do we think these game tokens, without again all speculation, our favorite phrase, what do we think these tokens are used for? I think the bulk of I think we all kind of think that they're used for some kind of victory point system.
Sure, for sure, yeah. I think the pips on the cards is related. I think the win condition of the game will be victory point. It won't be, it won't be bringing your eliminator down to 0 health from 20. It won't be magic.
No killing. What?
No, Siggy, we can't kill. It's Disney.
What about unaliving? Is that
we can erase the characters?
It'd be
erased.
I think it's going to be, establishing a board state in some way and being able to, take their points away. Maybe you both start with 40 points and taking their 40 points. I don't, whatever it is. Some type of victory point mechanic where you have to get either points away from them or you have to generate your own points to a certain amount to win the game. And so that makes sense that you need a good amount of tokens to track either if the characters have to have the points on them or even if you just have to have a pool on each side of the board, right? So yeah, it's interesting to see the tokens like that because not a ton of I guess Pokemon has a lot of tokens.
No,
not a lot, right?
This is the most tokens I've seen for a game. Like Pokemon has damage counters, Magic has a dial
and status tokens, right? There's certain statuses.
Yeah, Pokemon, but the status tokens are very rarely used, and you only need one.
You generally like flip the card in a cardinal direction to indicate
there are poison.
Okay. So that if you're confused, you're upside down. If you're paralyzed, you go to the right.
So you don't really need the token for that.
You have a token for burn. You have a token for poison.
That's it.
But those mechanics are like hyper uncommon. You really don't see them.
So, and here's the concept too: is like here's something we're assuming: are the 34 game tokens all the same token? They could be. They could just be like, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like, are they all the same token?
Is there a second deck of tokens we don't know about?
What does the starter set say about tokens? Let me see.
Is there an ink deck of tokens that's not a part of the 11 game tokens?
So starter set says 11.
Yeah, it says 11. Yeah.
Mystery tokens.
But
I think the trackers are very important. I think having those trackers that
gift set has 34.
Where it's like there's two specific trackers
15
that you need to keep track of some sort of total life point or victory point total, and they're see-through and they look like an inkwell. You know what I mean?
It does.
They're very important.
So if I play the yellow purple deck and you play the blue and steel the gray deck, then we'll have 22 tokens between two of us, right?
Yes.
Each have 11. So is that 11 the minimum?
You'll each have 10 technically. Because I think you'll need one of them to keep track of something like.
So they're not the same, right? Let's
it
10's a round number. So maybe it's 10 victory points, and you have another tracker or something else in the game. But then it's strange. Why would it go to 50? Why would it go to 34?
Yeah.
And for assuming the gift set is, you would think the gift set is created to
give you the gift of tokens.
Well,
gross.
Because it's just
so here's something interesting. It comes with 2 tracker tokens. Because that's printed. But we also get 34 game tokens.
Right. Where's the tracker token? Who says tracker tokens? Where's that at?
So if you look at the game set artwork, it's the box art. At the bottom, it says 4 booster packs, 2 tracker tokens, 2 playable foil cards, 2 oversized foil cards, and more. Oh my gosh!
34 game tokens.
So 32. So 32.
No. 34 game tokens and 2 trackers.
And 2 trackers. And it's on the box art. There's one at Hades and one at
36
Mulan.
tokens.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my suspicion is there's something more about this game we don't know that's going to be revealed
later.
Because the other thing is, if you look at the Fat Pack, the Illuminator's Trove, that has 15 game tokens.
Right.
And then the Lorcana starter decks have 11 game tokens. So there's something's up. Something is amiss. It's too
I wonder if you're like building a tower with these game tokens.
No, get out. You're fired. This is not Jenga. No.
That's the whole point of the game. Who can build the taller stack of Lorcana tokens will be the grand master.
There's no rules. There's no actual card game rules. You're just stacking tokens. Is the how you
whoever has the most.
Thank you.
Whoever can throw the most tokens at your opponent will win the game.
Ew. No.
I thought I got kicked out. I heard they go quiet. I thought you got kicked me out of the chat.
Yeah, no. So yeah, this comes to an interesting point of speculation. Like 2 tracker tokens. What are you tracking? I think we all agree that's probably victory points.
And they're see-through. It reminds me kind of like that DBZ token tracker.
Well, if you look at the tokens on the gift set artwork, it's one of the King Hades and one of the Mulan Imperial Soldier.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a token theme to the cards, but it's also got the same artwork as those pips. So we're getting closer to figuring out what those pips are relevant to. We still don't know what they do, but now we're starting to kind of get a picture of, okay, you're tracking the pips in some capacity, which is probably the lore from Lorcana. So it's probably a victory point threshold, or maybe it's like a health pool threshold, because I was speculating maybe each player comes to the game with 20 lore, and if you take specific types of damage, you lose that much lore, and once you get to 0 lore, you got to go back to the Illuminary and refresh yourself.
So that is like magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a sort of health.
Yeah.
So the reason why I think about that, when I looked at Hades, he has a sinister plot ability that we're pretty confident says this character gets +1 pip for each other villain character you control. So if you have 2 villains, based on the card we've seen, it's got 1 pip naturally printed. If you have 2 additional villains, you have 3 pips. So we were wondering,
pips can get outrageous. They can get, that's why you have the game token, maybe, because he only has 1 on his card. So when you have other villains to play, you put 2 more on him.
2 more on him,
right?
And therefore it shows that he has 3.
Only 1.
So you need a lot because your character's going to be adding pips to their cards.
But there's only 1 tracker though. If there's a tracker, that to me tells me, but they don't say this, but that you'd be a. What do they call that? Like a tracker.
Yeah. Well, you're tracking something. So here's my speculation. One is Keyforge related. One is magic related. So the easy one is magic related. Hey, you have health. You have a threshold of X. Let's just say 20 lore
before your ink runs dry.
When your lore goes to 0, you've lost the game. So that's my thought. So originally my thought was, so for Hades, say he has 2 additional villains, so he's got 3 pips. When they attack, my thought was that this could be similar to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, where we already know that characters can attack characters directly. So it's not like Magic, where you declare, I'm attacking with these 2 characters. You can choose to block or take the damage directly. Your characters have to attack other characters. So my thought is, if your opponent has no characters, you can attack the player directly, and then you don't take damage equal to their strength and toughness. You take damage equal to the number of pips on the card.
That makes perfect sense.
If Hades has 1 pip and he swings into you and you have nothing to stop him, you lose 1 lore.
You lose 1.
Yeah.
That
and then
makes perfect sense.
If he has multiple villains, he would have more pips and you would lose more lore. Yeah. My second thought, though, goes to Keyforge. And for those who don't know, the way Keyforge worked is you tapped characters to create amber, or maybe in this game you exhaust characters to create lore. And in Keyforge, you were trying to make 3 keys first, and each key cost 6 amber. So what if you're trying to create something and the pips are how much lore you create? And so, for example, maybe in Lorcana, you need 3 keys, and in order to create a key, you need 6 lore. So the pips, you can use the character to attack, or you can tap the character to create lore. You store it in a pool, and then at the end of your turn, if you have 6 or more lore, you create that key, and then whoever hits that threshold of 2 or 3 keys first wins the game. So at that point, you're not really attacking the opponent. You're trying to use that lore to create some kind of end game effect or something like that.
I like the first one,
the more magic style.
Yes, because like at the end of the day, I like the concept of just the inkwells having to deal with the player, but then the numbers for the attack and defense only have to do with the cards themselves individually.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot.
Yep, I agree.
That's my best speculation on the game design. Either you're using the pips to deal damage to people, or you're going to tap that card to create that much, whatever the pips are, lore, and then you spend that lore on something in the future to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
The real reason that's tricky is with the 11 game tokens, like I don't think players are going to have 10 health. That's just really freaking low. Unless like they're just going to be so many low, like, the cards we've seen so far have like 1 to 4 pips, and you have to wipe your opponent's board before you can attack. So I mean, like, but the thing is, if your opponent's butt naked and you have a Mickey the Brave Little Tailor with 4 pips, that's 40% of your health. If you have 10 tokens, so it's like, ooh, that's really low. It's like, ooh, that could be gross. So it's just tricky. Like it could be a resource that you tap for, or it could be a health threshold that you have. I don't know. Like me, and of course, 11 game tokens isn't necessarily the entirety of your health, because you could say each token counts for 2 health or whatever. So I'm just guessing in the wind. Right. Like the fact that we have a number in a starter deck kind of helps give us some indication of where we're going, because it's not 20 tokens or 30 tokens. It's 11. So that means
it'd be odd if they gave you not enough to actually play the game with your starter deck, right?
Right. Yeah, so that's why I'm assuming it's either like you have 10 health, maybe 20 health. Because even with like the gift set, 34 game tokens split between 2 people is 17 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really not that much per player. So what are they tracking? That's the big question. And I think that's an interesting thing we'll eventually learn as they reveal the rules.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. So I'm definitely saved for another episode, because this has been a meaty episode.
Yes, it has.
This has been a doozy.
2 hours.
Yeah. So I mean, to go off your point, Siggy, like let's say, because obviously the 11 is in there for a reason. So let's say the goal is to like first to 10, right? So like if you're going off like Mickey for your example, if the ink theory for like how you gain your resource like holds true, like One Piece, then he's a turn 5 card. So like I would think by then, as like if it's like you and me and like you've been clearing my board and like you're like close to like that 10, I would hope that by the time like my turn 5 or turn 4, if you're active player, or like for first player, like I would hope that like by my turn 4 I have enough ink to be able to kind of build a wall for defensive purposes to prevent you from getting to that 10. So I don't know. It's hard. It's just hard to say without knowing the rules.
Yeah, and I think that's a good place to kind of wrap up the show. I think, honestly, that is probably going to be the most critical thing of Lorcana's health, is how do you win the game?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of really interesting potential ways to play, but it's all going to boil down to, is this too simple? Is this too complex? Is this interesting? Is this uninteresting? There's a lot of variables that pretty much everyone's waiting for. Content creators, fans, players, anyone who doesn't work for Ravensburger is just kind of waiting to see, what is the purpose of this game? What are we trying to do? Who are we, and what is our purpose? So we're basically that, robot from Rick and Morty that spreads butter at this point in time.
What is my purpose?
Yeah, what is the purpose of this game? What are we supposed to do? But I'm really excited. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff that came out of this announcement. And there's still more stuff we can talk about, but we're going to do it on a future episode. So as we wrap up, is there anything else anybody wants to bring to the discussion table before we get on out of here?
Thank you for everybody for listening, because this was amazing.
I'm just really excited. This is a great info dump and excited to go to GenCon with you boys.
Yeah. Again,
live podcasting at GenCon.
Yes, absolutely.
Vlogging.
Against
I think they call that vlogging. The kids call it vlogging.
Yes.
I'll be vlogging for my YouTube channel 100%.
Here we go.
But
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for listening. Reminder, tickets for GenCon go on sale January 29th. So have your dates marked.
The housing hotels shortly after that, I think. Or the housing lottery is shortly after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In case you want housing for GenCon.
Yeah. So if you want a hotel that is adjacent to the convention center, that's your best bet. Or start looking for Airbnbs right now, because I guarantee they're going to just disappear super fast. We've all been waiting for this announcement, so people are already starting to eat up some of the good locations. But yeah, that is it. We are done here. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us on this grand adventure so far, and we've still got 8 months to go. It's really exciting now that we see product packaging, booster packs. I'm really excited to see what official US prices are, because the Germany prices are a good starting point, but that's not the end, and we don't know really where it's going to stick. But there's still so much more to talk about in future episodes, and there's a lot of other people in the community that we're going to have come on the show over the next 8 months. So everyone get excited. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you have the time, leave a quick review so we can help grow the LorcanaCast and let people know how much fun y'all are having. So thank you for joining us. We will see everybody next time, and remember, Ohana means family, which means nobody gets left behind, nobody gets forgotten.
Just like you will